So let's continue with resume. And so far we've added our first two topics, our objective or our purpose for creating the resume. And secondly, we've added the most important aspect of our life when it comes to our professional life, and that is our education. So next we want to add a new topic. So I'm going to hit enter a couple times. When that bullet comes up, I'm just going to backspace it out all the way to the left margin and hit another enter. My next topic is either going to be community service or my extracurricular activities. Some people like calling them co-curricular. I'm going to identify it as extracurricular. So these are organized activities that I do in conjunction with or outside of school, usually in groups. This is not my watching TV, my shopping, my playing video games. This is not the kind of topic that I want this to be. Instead, I want to show that it's more of an organized activity. So for this one, there we go, my extracurricular activities. This line's taking up a lot of room already, so I'm not going to even begin typing on this line. I'm going to start underneath here, and I'm going to indicate some of the activities I've been in. So this is going to be a hodgepodge of things. I'm going to do this formatting a little bit different. I'm going to tab in a couple of times, and if that isn't where I want it, I may actually make an adjustment on my tab. But I'm going to indicate when I did this activity, and this is going to be a size 12 font. And I might leave it bold, and I might have done it from 2001, 2. Now I'll make it 1-3 and a hyphen, present, meaning I'm still doing it. And I am going to go back, and I think I want to drag this back, line it up a little better there with the dots. And what did I do during this time? I played varsity football, and I'm going to change now, get out of bold, varsity football. And I might indicate what my position was, wide receiver. And maybe you have more than one position and you'd want to indicate that. Now, if this was an activity resume, I might want to have my yardage in there, my receptions, all those types of bits of information. But for the time being, I'm just going to leave it that this is the position I held, because an activities resume can take on a whole different flavor. Then I'm going to indicate that from 2012 through 2013 I played JV football. And maybe I was a running back. You'll find I'm very talented. And then typically I would indicate that we should stop. I'm going to format paint again to get this all nice and bold in one sweep. Typically I might stop right there, but my football career has been bigger than that, and what I want to do is show that I have been involved in football since I was a young child, and I am committed. Maybe not as skilled as some, but I am very committed to the activity. So I'm going to back way up, and let's see. Notice I'm doing some aligning with space bars. I'm going to take myself back at least 4 more years, so 2009 through 2012, and I might even go back further than that. Once again, I'm going to go back to some formatting I like. Use my format paintbrush and paint. I'm going to tab over, and no, I haven't set tabs, I'm just tabbing, and I'm going to put a CYO, football. Now, I don't need to indicate any position. I might want to explain what CYO is because I haven't used that acronym before. So, Catholic Youth Organization. And football. Looks a little funky that way, but you might want to indicate that. If you don't and want to leave that up to the reader to find out by asking you, a good way to do it is just to leave it CYO football. And if I feel like I'm leaving something blank here, I could tab over and indicate various positions. Okay, so then I want to go to my next most frequent activity after I make this the same. And that might be basketball. And it might be from 2:0. Notice I'm trying to keep the same formatting going. 2012 through the present. And that might be CYO basketball. It could be varsity. It could be whatever. And I'll put point guard. And then again, I'm going to format this using the same thing, format painter. Okay, so we've got that done. And if we don't, we'll do it again. I don't want all that white space. I don't have to grab the whole thing to make this work. Okay, so I've got that done. Now I might be from 2008 to the present. And Boy Scout. And there might be a pack number and all that. Don't ever take for granted being a Boy Scout, Girl Scout, whatever. Excellent on your resume. If you're working on your Eagle Scout, it's even more important as it helps you get into certain schools, especially military academies, and it allows the state senator to write letters of recommendation based on your participation. So let me go one more step. I am in the youth group. I am in a club. Let's 2012, the present. Spanish club. And the list can go on. Do you belong to dance? Do you belong to other activities, a singing group, a choir, any outside organization, more than individual activities, but what groups do you belong to? What activities? If you've not started to build your resume, it is critical to start building it. It has sometimes been helped in the deciding factor of who's accepted into which colleges. We're often borderline on our grades and some other important aspects, and this helps resolve the problem. So, all right, making my corrections there. All right, I've got my extracurricular activities. Any special recognitions or awards, we're going to take care of that. It can be done in extracurricular activities, but we'll do it later. Okay, so my next topic, I'm going to go back to adding a topic, and here's where I'm going to put community service. And at Central Catholic, you will be required to do 80 hours, but many of you have done many more hours than that. So at this point, it's a really good place to maybe indicate how many hours you've done. I always project a little bit ahead, and if I was in my second semester of my sophomore year and hadn't finished my 20 hours yet, I would still put down 40 hours, knowing that I would add what I complete my sophomore year to what I already completed my freshman year. So in this case, I'm going to put 80 or 60 plus hours. And I'm just going to do a plus hours. And that's because maybe I've done something with my family for many years. Maybe we help at a spaghetti dinner or an auction or something, especially through church, that has kept me very busy. So I think I'm going to have to create a tab here. So I'm going to grab this and this, and I'm going to create a tab right here in this proximity. And I'm going to bring this back. Each one, if I turn on my show hide, I can make that correction because it is very annoying not to have this line up without a lot of playing around. Notice I'm getting rid of all these space bars. Right now I'm using the delete key, and the delete key is different than the backspace. It deletes or erases to the right, and the backspace deletes or erases to the left. Okay, so now everything's lined up on a tab because I see that tab button. Alright, so now I am in the same place on all of this. Turn off my show hide. And I'm going to indicate where I have done my community service. So I might be, I'm going to go back to size 12. For now, I think I'm going to leave the bold off. I'm going to go Lone Fir Cemetery. And I'm going to indicate that I did grounds cleanup. I'm not going to say how many hours. I've got my hours up there. Grounds cleanup. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. Next one we're going to do is Blanchet House. And served meals to homeless patrons. Next one, I might put Oregon Food Bank. Sorted, labeled, packaged, labeled, and boxed foods for underserved families. So some of this is about wording. So again, I've got families hanging out there, and I don't want it hanging out there. I'm going to grab my bottom triangle here, the hanging indent, and I'm going to drag it over. So it's going to align with these words here. Okay, and I can go on and on. Let's do another one. We've got